Good morning and welcome to the video name. I have yet to decide what I'm going to name. Market Morning. It's not going to contain cryptocurrencies, although in situations where it's really big, I may end up doing a quick little view amongst such. But as the videos continue to move on forward, what we're going to be doing is, what I'm going to be doing is in the morning, starting recording at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, and that makes it really interesting in doing such. 9:45 means that all the markets have been open with that 15-minute delay, and then I'll have the updated charts as I go through. There's going to be once I get past that 9:10, 9:30 number, sometimes I might be busy, which oftentimes on crypto day mornings, I'd put the video out at 8:30 or 8 o'clock. That doesn't happen too often though. So there could be situations where it could come out later or earlier, but majority of the time I'm going to start recording this between 9:45 and 10 o'clock a.m. Philadelphia Standard or whatever the time is in Philadelphia. I don't live there. I just know they have the exact same time zone as Toronto. Showing gold and silver, the dollar index, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And what's the difference between this stock, the SPY, the Nasdaq? They pretty much all work hand in hand. Request. What I'll be doing is on a daily basis, I will take one, up to one if there is any, from the previous video. If you send multiple requests, well then I'm gonna choose one of them, and it would be of course on my choice. And if there's multiple ones, then again I'm going to choose which one that way. I'm also going to go over the top gainer and the top loser. And when I do it, I'll oftentimes be looking at it for the first time, including today. I've already taken a quick gander at what the loser and gainer is. We'll take a look at it. And then on the nightly shows, afternoon shows, 2 o'clock to 6 p.m., this to me is a good time because once a day thing I think is always good. And at that time, that's awesome for the Americas. As far as Europe is concerned, that's not too late, and that's starting the day on the Pacific side of the hemisphere. And going over that, we put Bitcoin and Litecoin against the dollar every day. Whatever else I want to show, I'm going to do the exact same thing again as I'm going to be doing here in the morning. One request per day. And it's going to definitely be, if you put a request in for cryptocurrencies, and you'll have to do that in the crypto video for it. Although it really wouldn't matter because I check my comments the same way usually. But if you request something, it's going to be shown against Bitcoin, most likely. It could, if you really request it, there has to be shown against the dollar, and as well as the top loser and gainer. This would be my choice though. From Binance, Poloniex, or Bittrex, I'll be looking for decent sized moves, but also a coin that is, I mean, I don't want anything that's on its first day. Although, yeah, sometimes there, if it's that big of a gain or a lot, well, gain, or definitely a coin that's got good volume though. Therefore, let's start off within these markets, and we'll do within gold. All bets, trades of the like, within each his own risk and their own reward. For myself, risk reward management is job number one. Do I own gold? I own gold and silver in the physical form, although gold is just a small position, we'll call it. And within it right now, it is having looks like a second test within this move because we had all these patterns of higher highs, higher lows. The market had several red candles down, establishing this level of support. Back to this band, falling down below. So the support has been established basically around 1281, resistance within this Fibonacci line. And until they can get above this level, then it's simply at the bottom end of this range and attempting in that a reversal of trend because this upward move has merely went sideways over the last a month and change. Let's move on next to silver. And a lot of times I'm going to be showing these in different currencies every day. Sometimes the US, the Canadian, the Australia dollar, the euro, the yen, whatever I choose for on the day. And maybe even on request, I might even do one particular day, but it's going to be gold and silver every single day. The exact same sort of pattern with that, with silver here. After it had its up run, establishing this top at around 16 low change, now it's at 15 low change, and from the decline, resistance did come in where it came from at the average at the previous low. It didn't get above the 18 average, but it's really not declining. Like technically it is, but until it breaks down below this, it's merely turning into a sideways range. But it does have to get above these higher levels to attempt to regain the bullish mode. And moving on to the Dow Jones, and I mean, it's just a little, oh my goodness, like delayed 15 minutes. Like, what's up with this whole delayed stuff in 2019? I mean, this is public data, I would think, but as it's playing out, it's a very interesting pattern here as we're looking at it, as it's had this very sharp rise from the Christmas lows. And since then, has also, like the gold and silver market, had more of a sideways move, not as volatile, of course. And it's above this. So, like I said, with gold and silver, it has to make a move above the highs to attempt to resume the bull market. And that's what it's doing. It's right in near these highs. And by getting above it, where do we have potential for a level of resistance? Well, we got next up is a twice hit previous high at around the 26 level. Generally speaking, regardless of what you see, you're going to expect a nice break above after it has a correctionary move more times than not. But getting above this level of resistance, as we can take a look at this on the weekly, I mean, this could have a very interesting bullish size move. It might start off something like this, maybe a few good candles and grinding its way higher. Maybe it'll be a hyperinflationary pop as well. Time, of course, will tell. The dollar index has having a move within this 18 average right now, trying to get above it. This upward move has sloped it sideways as well, showing a lot of strength right now amongst this upper resistance higher levels right now. But until it can get above this, it's still in this upward move that has been correctionary. I do notice the fact within these lows they are higher, so I could say, okay, we have a big resistance level at 97.51, but I don't see any too amazing support levels that is in a good horizontal level as well since this low, but more important since this one here, which came from this high, it's been higher lows. And until it breaks it, it's just looking as if it's most likely going to do that. That's the weekly term time frame. We're getting a lot of this choppy action right now on the daily. Choppy action is when you go below the 18, but not much below. Then you go a little bit above, a little bit below, a little bit above, below, and now it's above. Okay, let's move on now to the request section. As there was a request, as I put a video out last night, and the one I'm choosing is Tesla, which has been making a lot of patterns of lower highs and lower lows. We also realize the stock market is an overall bullish sense up towards its previous highs. This one's underperforming the direction of the stock market a little bit. But as it's making these lower highs, lower lows patterns, it's going to remain such until it does something to change it. And at this time, it's now attempting to make either that of a higher high, which is neat to get above that. But if it's going to go down, there's nothing wrong to revert the trend to make a lower high, but make the higher low. Because every single time this is coming down to the 18 average of lows, it's always piercing below it. And these are charts I don't know what this weekly chart looks like. I'm going to take a look at it now for the first time, which is a very choppy market. And we see a lot of established support at 255, a lot of established resistance at about 370. So as a trader, if you've already seen this, the original resistance established was down towards here. So as before this move, you would have been saying, okay, for buying, we want to be buying around a little over 300, and we're selling at like 360 or more. And then this buy in here at 300 would go down further. So like, okay, maybe I'm going to buy at 250. And if you would sell for where it came from, well, then you would have hit that, but this buy order would not have hit. But the previous buy order would hit up here, and you would, and if you just start to realize a pattern, you would have maybe hit this buy here, hit this buy here. You can see right now that the pattern has been the buy zones, or the is like 250 and then you sell that up towards like 290, and then the next sells up here, and those are just, to me, the areas in which the trading I would be doing if I would be doing it. Overall, as far as this market is concerned, it's gotten this sideways move. So all charts, it needs to have that move above the 18 highs or lows. But in this case, every single time, there's been many situations it has done it. It has managed to not do its destination, attempting to make a breakdown in here on March of 2018. It resists this, but it doesn't break down. So now it's trying to say, oh, failed breakdown, fast move higher. No, it's not going to be that way. Although there was a move to previous high, that was about it. Okay, let's go up now. We find support here. We're breaking out. No, 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 no. Okay, I'll give it another chance. Come back to the 18, but it breaks down. Okay, bearish side again. We retested this level with a pierce above here in August of 2018. Come up to this level, back down again. Oh, we're going to break it down? No. Break above it? No. Break down below it right now? It's no. So it's very much neutral on that sense. And just I'm going to take a quick look at the monthly chart. After a long neutrality session in 2013, it is supporting where it came from back here in this level of resistance. So overall, very good long-term progression, because one of the things I pointed out earlier is on the daily time frame, or over the last or throughout the year, it has underperformed the indice market, but over the last several years, it has been quite the opposite. And within this range bound market, if this level of support I talked about before it breaks down, well, I'd be looking for this to go down to about 186 and breaking out above this level of 358. You're just establishing a new level of resistance like it did last time when it broke this level of resistance. And you always want a decent sized move so that any pullbacks can come back to where it came from. And this really shows you that this was the minimum of a decent sized move, because it kind of did come back to where it came from right now on 3 different occasions. Okay, let's take a look at the top loser that I see, down 19.8%. And this is, I know you can't, I have to scroll the screen, but I'm getting it from in here. It's ticker symbol SCOR, that's at 16.24. I'm going to guess that it is delayed as well. I'm not even going to read that. All right, so within this is one of the top losers long-term time frame. It's within its correctionary band, sort of like what we were seeing with Tesla, how it's making a pattern of lower highs and lower lows. And this is, of course, on the long term, falling down below this 18 average of lows after within this month having a test up there. Of course, today is where we see a down day, and there's probably going to be news more time than not. But when you have a situation like this, you're looking at a 61.8% Fibonacci retracement. If this is something that's good fundamentally, I don't know if it is, then you know what? There's, to me, always like this. I don't see this, to me, as really that of a strong sell, because stronger sells were as it was rising higher, and even for that matter, as it was breaking down. Either one. My preference is as it's rising higher. But in such, that means when I'm selling here, that means I can buy back at around this level, because if I sell in this upper end, I'm more likely to buy back at around a 61.8% Fibonacci level area. Now, how does this work out if you have buy orders? What happens if I had a buy order at, say, 1938? I don't know how that works within the market. Another reason why I don't trade stocks and why I prefer the cryptocurrencies. But you know what? It's fun to look at these and to get just take a look at how a lot of these will work out. Now, as far as the top gainer, let's just see what comes up. It's PULM. Is it a big enough market cap? Yeah. And it's up 58%. Never seen this chart in my life. Poolometrics Incorporated on the NASDAQ. And this one's one that took a big beating, and it's now showing like a double bottom, cup and handle-ish kind of formation. We're looking at a lot of blood, I guess you can call this, or red candles, it seems, within that down move that occurred at the from November all the way to the start of February. Price action kind of volatility. Oh my, yeah, this is crypto like volatility. This is sweet. You have a spot where it goes from like 4 and change down to 76. So I can say like this is used to me saying 441 Satoshi down to 77, back up to 200. A lot of great opportunities, I would think, for something like this. So if you're looking for the same sort of amazing volatility that you can get that cryptos offer, a lot of stocks not only compare well, but can compare so much better to a lot of the other cryptos that don't even have this kind of volatility. One of the coins I'm going to talk about tonight in cryptos will be Dogecoin. It's having a tremendous 20% up move. I don't think it'll be the top gainer because it's one of the lower volatile crypto coins. Within the double bottom, double top, we've seen this decline. Of course, what does the more longer term chart show? We'll see that in a bit. But this area came to this area of where it came from. Nice little pullback. Two different times. The original one to the 18 highs, and then it wasn't able to get enough energy to make a higher high on this rally attempt. Thus, it made a lower low to this, but it made the higher high to this. And today's session quickly managing to get above that area. So therefore, but you have this setup made. The statement is in play. We're going to come back most likely to where it came from. I would be looking at its next resistance area around 322 up to 435. But what does this mean on a more longer term? Let's take a look at this on a weekly chart. And it's just nasty. It is just nasty. All right, then. So let's explain this. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Volatility extreme. And I've seen this before. A lot of the losers seem to do a lot worse, it seems, on stocks than the cryptos, which surprises me. But throwing that aside, here we have a chart that goes from 50 to below 1. That's a 50x loss. And you know what? Maybe I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of coins that have done 50x worse as well. But it had its rally attempt in 2017, fierce green candles higher. But how did its 18 average test do? It got to the lows, had one attempt to get above the highs, but ever since then, it's just been a nightmare. And was this previous level of support that? Yeah, sort of. I mean, support and resistance has stopped going higher and lower. It came down this level, it stopped going lower, but it kind of resisted it, had the sideways move, and within its 18, it has been resisting it for quite some time. Bear markets can be hard to end, and it's very difficult to say I like this daily term cup and handle, double bottom, however you want to look at it, or even its probability breaking it above this resistance, not only for its probability to do such, but then its probability to sustain good gains. Now, of course, its volatility will be thrown aside for that, but good gains, it's got to make a move like up to like 337, 358 just to attempt to revert this trend. And what's been going on even before then? This thing has been just been growing. It's been straight down the whole time. If I were to talk about my buy low, sell high strategy, almost anywhere where you started, you'd be in a losing position unless, of course, it was. I mean, as long as you started maybe from like in here, you'd be okay. If you started at this 280 mark, maybe if you started here at this bottom at down in like 2018, you might be okay. But if you started back in here or anytime before, buying when it goes down, selling when it goes up, you're going to get a lot of buys, 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 and just limited and not enough amount of sell orders to make it worth it. In conclusion, the volume is pretty noticeable. What happened last time we had decent sized volume? It was the top. For the volume started in here to start a rally, and then it came up to this level. Then we had decent sized volume in here, but it didn't manifest anything more than further decline. Will this volume be an indicator that it's a key bottom? Maybe, but just worth noting. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.